Let's go with Jay next. JJ.
Hey, peace to you, brother. How are you?
Doing pretty good. Just for TikTok purposes, how old are you?
70.
Okay, awesome. All right, so what you want to talk about? Do you want to talk about any of the topics up here or something else?
Well, actually, I can't see it now, but I saw it down below earlier that you don't believe in God at all, huh?
No. Yeah.
Because I was going to suggest to you that God exists above and beyond religion. So, but if you don't believe, then I don't really have religion is man-made construct to control men.
So what kind of religion would you say that you're a part of? Are you in a religion at all?
I followed Jesus for 40 years. I was led to the Quran. I have submitted to Allah.
Okay, so you're Muslim.
Well, Muslims would say I'm not, but yeah, for all intents and purposes, yes, I'm Muslim. I follow I pray to the God of Abraham, the God of Jesus, the God of Moses. Yeah.
Okay, well, that God supports child marriage, chattel slavery, sexual slavery, and child sacrifices. So how do you feel about that?
You see, first, you're saying he supports it, so that's a broad spectrum. However, the scriptures are given to us, and we are given an intellect to be guided through them. And it's not like these aren't manuals. It's not saying do this, this, and this. Other than the Ten Commandments, it's not. I don't read anywhere that what you're suggesting up
All right,
here.
Can you?
But I was listening to you, and you seem well versed in the scriptures, which is interesting. And the question I really have for you is, if you don't believe in God at all, why are you spending your energy trying to disprove something you say does not exist? That confounds me.
I'm not. Well, at what point have I said that I'm trying to disprove God?
You have this platform, and you're debating or discussing these things with people. And I specifically asked if you believed in God. You don't believe in God, so isn't that the motivation for the platform?
Well, yeah, but none of that says that I'm trying to disprove God.
None of that. So therefore, God does exist.
Nope, I'm not saying that God does exist. I don't believe in a God, and but I'm not sitting here trying to prove that a God doesn't exist. If you want to have a conversation about the theology that you subscribe to, we can have that kind of conversation. But, I was a Christian for about 24, 25 years. And then once I deconstructed from religion, I seriously studied my previous religion, and I came away with a lot of knowledge. And we also, we in our society, in American society, and just the global society in general, we're faced with the religious aspects of life all the time, like people that are using religion in order to advance their own goals and everything. And so, like, knowing religion, knowing what their religion actually says, as opposed to what people claims it says, is a very important thing. And so I want to help spread that kind of knowledge.
Okay. Well, but you probably heard me. Religion is a construct of man. God exists above and beyond religion. And I'm not sorry. I'm not sure how that factors into like your idea of God and what that means. Like, do you feel like the scriptures represent your God? The scriptures are an aid in guiding me to understanding how I should live my life.
Okay, but the scriptures say that God commanded a few things. Like you mentioned the 10 Commandments. Do you think that God issued those 10 Commandments?
You had mentioned historically before other historical sources. I think it's pretty clear that if we look at society, the impact of what we call the 10 Commandments seems to have permeated all throughout society, all throughout history. So I would tend to believe that, yes, Moses was given those 10 Commandments, yes.
Okay, and he was given those 10 Commandments by God.
According to the scriptures, yes. According
to according to the scriptures, that's what it says. But is that what you believe?
I believe that all we have is the here and now. All we have is this life, and that we have all been dumped in it together with these scriptures, and it's up to us to make sense of it. the
Right,
sense.
okay, I'm really not trying to trick you into anything. I'm just trying to understand whether or not you believe that God gave Moses the Ten Commandments. Like, are the Ten Commandments representative of God's will?
Yes.
Okay, then God definitely supports women as property, which makes them part of sexual slavery.
Sir, you realize the leap you just took. You took.
I didn't take a leap.
Property, women being property. Where in the Ten Commandments?
Okay, yeah, I'm glad that you asked, because I'll read it. It's the 10th commandment, I believe. Let's see.
Thou shalt not covet your neighbor's wife.
Yep.
So what does that mean to you?
No, you're not finishing. Like, you're not actually finishing it.
No, well, I was just reaching. I thought you were going to read it, so I was just,
right. Yeah. You shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife, or his male or female servant, his ox or donkey, or anything that belongs to your neighbor.
Oh, I see. So therefore, you're saying if the woman belongs to the neighbor, she's his property. That's what you're saying?
Right, because my wife over there doesn't belong to me, right? She doesn't belong to me in the situation that's being described here in the 10th commandment. So the situation that's being described here, considering that with other property and other chattel, like other property being the house, chattel being ox or donkey, as well as the male and female servant who are chattel slaves, like the wife is placed in there as property. So like, it's not a leap. It's just reading the words off of the page.
But sir, how you just referred to your wife, you said my wife. Does that not denote a sense of ownership? Just that phrase, my wife.
No, that's a little disgusting to even portray it that way.
Well, you brought this up, and I
did, and I said that she does not belong to me. Like, the fact that she's my wife just says something about this legal attachment that we have to one another, which is what husband and wife is. I'm her husband, she's my wife. Like, that's that kind of relationship that has nothing to do with ownership or belonging or anything like that.
Well, okay. So why do you suppose that God meant ownership when he was referring to the wife? How could not God refer to the wife in much the same way you just did? My wife.
Well, sure.
Thou shalt not covet his wife.
Right, sure, but it's kind of like your point is undercut by the fact that the wife is listed amongst other property.
No, that's a good point, and I can't really dispute that. It's all lumped in there together. But basically, what God is saying is anything your neighbor has been blessed with, it is not your case to be jealous of it, to be envious, to be covetous.
Well, right, but that's still listing it as property. That's dehumanizing, the woman there.
Right.
I mean, do you understand how that's like dehumanizing?
Oh yeah, the misogynistic essence of all the faiths has always bothered me. But okay. I can't answer that question. I don't know why it's written that way.
Okay. Well, I mean, but you don't like, you seem to have a problem with it, but you're also perfectly fine with it, with God saying it.
Well, because I believe in God, I believe God can do whatever God wants to do. And if God wants to say something, it's up to me to allow myself to be guided to the right understanding of it. That's how I roll.
So if God, if God lays out a system where you could marry an 8-year-old girl, would you?
Oh, my goodness. But no. And I don't understand what this fascination is with young women, but I have been led to the Quran. And the Quran says all humanity has to do is to believe in God, believe in Judgment Day, and do good. That's the essence of the message. Has nothing to do with child marriage, has nothing to do with sacrifice, has nothing to do with slavery.
So I'm not talking about that aspect of your religion. I'm just talking about the things that God in your religion has either commanded or has created a structure for. And one of those things is child marriage. So like, I get what you're saying about it, but that's not my criticism. My criticism is the fact that he even created that structure, that societal structure in the first place.
Look, I'm 70 years old. 70 years ago, in certain parts of this country of ours, the United States of America, people with a different pigment were not entitled to the same things as Caucasian or white people. Isn't that true?
Yes.
Right? That's what our country stood for. Yes.
Yes.
That was part of our country. That's what our history stood for. Have we evolved from that? Yes or no?
Yes, we have, but this is a different situation with God. God is supposed to be timeless, is he not?
Yes, but I'm trying to tell you that the evolving has happened with the Quran completing the Abrahamic faiths. And if you read the Quran, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, no, I was just going to say, I'm talking about a characteristic of God. And that characteristic is that he is timeless. So if he is timeless, like he's eternal and he's unchanging, do you believe that your God is unchanging, or do you think that God changes?
I don't know what God knows. I can't speak for God.
Do you think God is all knowing?
Yes.
Okay. Would God at this point in time not have known that marrying a child is wrong?
Yes.
Okay, then why does God specifically lay out and structure a society built upon child marriages?
Again, my brother, the Quran was sent down to complete these things. You're holding on to old scriptures. No.
I'm not holding on. No. So I'm not holding on to old scriptures. I am just reading the scriptures as they're written and as relayed by God, right? And so God has created this system that that promotes marrying children in it. Why would God do that if he knew that was wrong?
Well, first of all, as I said, I have no idea what God knows. I have no idea why God does the things that he does. But, sir, we have to be practical here in as much as understanding that people didn't live to be my age back then, right? How old, history. How old was the oldest people? How old did they live? How long did they live? 30 years?
Probably, yeah. I mean, okay. or less than that earlier in human history.
So that's a different dynamic, yes? So we're not talking about a lifespan of 70 years. So we've evolved from that lifespan that they had in ancient times.
So you're saying that if the lifespans weren't as long as they are now, then it's okay to marry a child?
No, sir. You're asking me questions, and I'm trying to offer plausible reasoning behind it. That's all I'm doing.
Well,
I'm just trying to.
But I mean, sorry, I was trying to cut through like whatever 5-minute discussion we would have had on it. I felt like that was where you were getting to with it. Is that?
No, actually, the point really that I'm trying to get to is to say to you, God does exist. No one can prove the existence of God, and it is up to the believer to find the truth within the scriptures. That's all. Peace to you, brother.
Okay. Oh shit. He noped out too. Why these people are just crashing and burning and noping out like so quick today.